how to improve gut health to lose weight. Now, if you're on a weight loss journey right now, you may be a little frustrated because it always seems to be those last number of pounds that we were trying to get rid of just fail to come off. Now, through all of your research, you may have actually heard something about the influence of the level of gut health you have and the ability to lose weight. If that's you, then you're probably wondering, how in the world do I improve my gut health so I can reach those weight loss goals once and for all? That's you. You're in the right place because I'm here to answer that question in today's video. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine and specialized in clinical nutrition. In today's video, we're going to be discussing why a happy gut is essential for weight loss. Then we'll cover the most important variable for finally dropping weight permanently. And finally, I will be sharing with you my 3-step strategy to achieve a joyful gut and permanent weight loss. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Let's get started. We're going to jump into why a happy gut is essential for weight and fat loss. So here's the thing. Everything that happens with your metabolism is influenced by the level of gut health that you have. If you find that you are struggling to actually lose weight, then more than likely you're one of the at least 80% of Americans who are struggling with something known as leaky gut syndrome. There has been some interesting research done that has looked at your microbiome, which is that whole ecosystem that lives inside of your gut. And these are full of predominantly good bacteria, but there's all kinds of microbes that live there. In fact, the amount of your genetic makeup is predominantly the bugs that live inside of your gut. In fact, you're like 10% of your genetic makeup. The other 90% is completely made up of all of these critters that are living inside of your gut, and they can be helpful in ones that help you have such a higher level of health, but they can also be ones that challenge the level of your health. We have this symbiotic relationship with the microbes that live within our intestinal tract. And what we have found is, specifically as it relates to weight, there are different types of bacteria, different families of bacteria, if you will, that either help us be able to do a better job at, utilizing our foods and the calories that come with them and digesting our carbohydrates and what have you, compared to others that actually hinder the process and basically create this fast, forward feed loop, if you will, that creates hunger even though you've already eaten. Is one way to think of it. And this group of bacteria that work against us as far as our weight loss goals or just maintaining proper weight, it's partly because they disrupt our metabolism. So ultimately, when we have guts that don't have the integrity that they should, and catch-all term leaky gut syndrome, what we're seeing in people who have that is this family that works against us and works against our metabolism and actually perpetuates us holding on to weight seem to be in a higher amount compared to that family of bacteria that actually would help us do a better job, be more efficient with extracting out the fuel supply and the calories from the food that we are consuming. So this is really the bottom line as to how your level of gut health influences weight loss. Now, I know that was a bit technical, but just know, in order for you to actually have a crank-in metabolism that is really efficient at extracting out the goodness of what you're putting into your system, of course, assuming you're eating good foods, right? It depends on how healthy your gut is. So while this may not be the top priority of what you're thinking about when it comes to achieving weight loss goals, you really should put it up there, because if you're ignoring the level of health of your gut, you're going to be missing out on ever hitting that mark or maintaining that mark long term. Now, I'm super curious. Have you ever heard about this connection between the critters that live inside of your gut and fat loss, weight loss? Let me know your thoughts in your comments down below. Now, I would like to share with you the most important variable for dropping unwanted pounds permanently. Would that be okay with you? I thought so. The most important variable that is going to influence the level of health of your gut has to do with quality food. Now, this is more than just thinking, oh, well, if I eat purely organic, I must be doing a good job. Now, that's putting you more to the path because you're generally eating higher quality of food, but there's a little bit more to that. I want to share with you 4 factors that actually contribute to creating bad gut health that is really common amongst Americans and really kind of around the world. Americans might be more guilty of this than the rest. The first one is consuming too many refined carbohydrates. And when I talk about refined carbohydrates, I'm also talking about large intakes of sugar. I mean, we eat huge amounts of sugar here in the United States. Our early ancestors, you couldn't even measure the amount of sugar that they were actually consuming. What's important about these factors here is they really cause inflammation within your gut. And as soon as you inflame an area, you have totally disrupted health. Like, you can't be inflamed and be healthy. So this is a huge factor for looking at what you're consuming when it comes to food. Another big challenge here in the US that people have that influences the level of gut health is consuming too many wheat products. Now, there's great debate about why this might actually be, and there's a few different strong theories. And we know that if you eat wheat that is grown like over in Europe, where they've banned GMOs and they use a completely different strain of wheat than what we do here in America, that people don't seem to have near the issues that you do with consuming these wheat products from America. But again, that cycles us back to don't eat too many carbohydrates, refined carbohydrates, and grains are a great opportunity for consuming a lot more refined types of products. So the other trap people will run into is consuming too many wheat products. A huge one that people don't really talk about a whole lot is just purely a lack of fiber intake. We're supposed to be consuming at least 20 grams of fiber per day, and the average American isn't even getting close to half of that. Fiber is going to be predominantly in our vegetables and our fruits. Higher on vegetables, though, and fruits, because eating too much fruit is going to increase that level of sugar in your system. Even though it's naturally occurring, it can still promote that inflammation. So we really want to increase the amount of fiber that we're getting predominantly from vegetable sources. And then the last little variable in here, as far as when it comes to eating quality foods that are helpful for our gut, we want to actually cut down on using all of the seed oils that are out there. Those actually can be detrimental for the health of our gut as well. Now, before I get into my 3-step strategy for creating a joyful gut and a healthy body with permanent weight loss, I just wanted to take a moment to remind you to click that subscribe button right down below, turn the notifications on, and while you're at it, give me a big thumbs up if I'm doing a good job for you. I am regularly producing videos teaching you how to take back control of your health, whether you're dealing with diabetes or you've got aches and pains or you've got brain issues. It doesn't matter. I'm here teaching you how to take charge of your health again so that you can achieve what I like to call total body mastery. So again, just click that subscribe button down below, turn the notifications on, and give me a big thumbs up. Awesome. Are you ready to hear what this 3-step strategy is? It's really easy, guys. Like I said, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. So let's dive in. Step number 1. We kind of touched on this a little bit, but we want to eliminate all of those sugars and refined carbohydrates. I want you to do this for at least 10 days. It's going to kind of give you perspective of how healthy are you and how well is your body responding to what it is you're consuming. And this is kind of a clean out phase. So where I want you to focus your carb intake efforts from is purely from vegetables and some fruit. I would limit fruit to just 1 serving of fruit a day, if that, but that's the only place that I want you really getting carbohydrates from over the next 10 days. Get rid of the refined carbohydrates, the sugars, and those cooking seed oils. Cut those out completely for 10 days. Do you think you can do that for 10 days? I totally think you can. I know you can. Now, step number 2 has to do more with the fats that we're consuming in our diet. It is really easy for food companies and manufacturers to slap all kinds of labels on their products now, and it can be very misleading and it may not actually be true or accurate. Okay. So what I want you to do over the next 10 days is I also want you to only be consuming extra virgin olive oil, actual fish oil, because these contain oils that are easy for us to break down and to absorb. You can get into the grass-fed butter or coconut oil or avocado oil. Those would be the fats that I would have you stick with consuming for at least the next 10 days. Because again, they contain the fatty acids that are easy for our body to absorb and easy for our body to digest. And they do not promote inflammation, which again is one of the things that's so irritating to the gut, is that inflammation. So that's step number 2. Now, step number 3 is going to help you nurture the guys that live in your gut. And this would be adding in fermented foods. Now, when I'm talking fermented foods, this is like your sauerkraut, kimchi, the kefir. You can even get some of the fermented components, like what nurtures those guys in your gut, out of Greek yogurt. The biggest thing when it comes to like kimchi and sauerkraut or anything that's been fermented vegetable wise, you want to make sure if you're buying this already done for you at the grocery store that you're not getting it in the aisles. This needs to be in the refrigerated section. What happens when we find the food in the aisle is they've actually been heat treated or heat processed, and the heat is going to knock out the ability of those foods to actually really nurture those critters that are living in your gut. So stick to fresh, refrigerated forms of fermented foods. The kombucha, drinks and that you can do as well. The biggest thing to be aware of is look at the nutrition facts. See if they've added any sugars into these products, because unfortunately, you will find that there are added sugars in some of those products. You guys, when you add these strategies in over the next 10 days, I promise you, you're going to notice a difference. And because your gut is intimately connected to your brain, you may not just notice that there are shifts happening in your digestive system, which, by the way, if you're not used to eating fiber and all of a sudden you're starting to add in a lot more fiber, you may have a little bit of discomfort. Your body's getting used to how much fiber you're consuming. So if you notice that, slow it down a little bit. But do not stop. Slowly work to increase the amount of fiber you're consuming so your body's actually getting what it needs to nurture the health of your gut. Might just have to drip feed it in a little bit depending on how much has been lacking. The other side of this is once you get past that initial adjustment, you'll notice you'll have less gas and bloating. Your stomach will actually feel flatter. But on the other side of this, you may notice because of that connection between the brain and the gut, that all of a sudden you have more mental clarity. Like your thoughts are just clear again. You're not living life in this fog. You might notice that your focus and your concentration also improves and that your memory seems to be sharp again. And so many other factors, guys. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. So I'm super excited for you to embark on this journey. And if you're still sitting there going like, hey, Kelly, I'm not entirely sure how I should be eating, don't worry, I've got a special surprise for you. Right down below this video, if you click on that description so it expands, scroll on down and you'll see that there is a gut repair meal plan that is waiting for you to claim it. I have put this together. This incorporates all of the foods that are healthy for healing the gut, right? And critical for healing the gut. But I've done this in a way too that it fits into anybody's busy life. You've got all the recipes, you've got a grocery list, and you do have kind of what this would look like if you wanted to follow a plan. So all you need to do is click on that link, tell me where to send it, and it will be yours. I hope that this was helpful and it creates some clarity and is going to help you get beyond that plateau or wherever you're stuck on your weight loss journey. And I can't wait to see you on a future episode. God bless.